Jocko, good evening. In a leadership position, is it okay to take or ask for suggestions on solving a task? Or is it okay to take suggestions that stray from my initial plan?
Yes. Yes. And I hope that that would made you decide to ask this question is because you just found out about the podcast or the book or whatever, because this is something that absolutely anybody that kind of listens would say, yes, absolutely. You're in a leadership position, you should definitely ask for suggestions, take suggestions, share the planning, let many brains be smarter than your one brain. That's what you want. You want to utilize the brain power of your team. Now, the reason you're asking this question, a little bit scary, a little bit of a red flag. The reason you're asking this question is because you're afraid of what it'll look like if you have to ask, hey guys, I'm not sure how to do this, or you're afraid of what it means that you're going to look weak. You're going to look like a weak leader.
Yeah, or inexperienced.
You're inexperienced. That's your insecurity that's making that happen. Don't be insecure. Don't be insecure, because the open mind and the asking for suggestions and the taking suggestions, it actually makes you look like a better leader. I know that sounds crazy. It actually makes you look like a better leader when you say, hey, you know what? Echo, we got this problem to solve. Not 100% sure how to tackle this one. Can you give me a hand? Can you give me some suggestions here? That doesn't make you say, oh, Jocko doesn't know his game. He's an idiot. No, it goes, oh, man, Jocko's humble. He's looking for input. He wants to work together as a team. So, yes, absolutely. Ask for suggestions, take suggestions, have an open mind. Disregard your plan if your plan wasn't good. I'm not just going to hold fast to a plan because I'm the one that thought of it. That's not good leadership at all. Don't do that. Open your mind.
Yeah, and asking for suggestions help, and it's kind of what you said already is it helps with making everyone feel even more involved.
Oh, you mean it spreads the ownership throughout the team?
Yes, exactly.
Indeed, Echo Charles.
Yeah, and
yes, indeed.
That improves. I know, as if you know you're the leader or whatever, and the leader was asking me for my input. Yeah. And I gave it to him, and and he entered. Man, I would feel just that much more valuable and part of the team. I'd be more enthusiastic now.
Right. Now, who's going to work harder on a project? You, when I come in and say, hey, can you give me a hand? How do you think we should do this? And then you come up with a suggestion, and you start working on that plan. You're going to go a lot harder than if I come in and say, hey, here's what I want you to do.
Yeah.
Follow my instructions.
Yeah.
As soon as you come up to an obstacle, and all I've told you to do is follow my instructions, as soon as you come to an obstacle, you're going to be like, you know what? Hey, this isn't working.
Right.
Whereas if it was your plan, you come up to an obstacle, you tackle that thing. You get after it.
Yep.
That's what happens.
Yep. And you're saying sometimes where, as a leader, you might be reluctant to ask for suggestions because you might come off like inexperienced or something like that. If you need a suggestion, and you're like, oh, I don't want to sound like that or whatever, and you say, whatever, I'm just going to go ahead and move forward anyway, and not know the best way to do it. Man, you're going to look dumb. And you know how, we talked about this before, where if you don't know what you're doing, but you're acting like you know what you're doing, bro, that's transparent, man. You're way more transparent than you think. And that goes pretty much with everything you do. Right. It's like name droppers. When people drop names, they don't really think that people are going to pick up on it, but oh my gosh, you smell that thing from a mile away.
Is that like tonight? I was like, well, Joe
Lister
and me were kicking it.
Exactly. We see what you're doing.
Hey, it's been 26 podcasts and I haven't done much name dropping. JT, Joe, you're the first one. Name dropping.
You should say Joel Tudor because you could be talking about JT Torres.
Oh no, I'm talking about Joel Tudor.
Another jiu-jitsu guy.
And I guess I dropped Jeffy Glover's name. But those guys, we dropped Greg Train's name, too. You know what I mean? We drop everybody. Like, everybody that we train with, we drop their names, but just no one knows who they are.
Right. Yes. That's
like Andy. or Big Eric. I mean, we talk about these guys.
Well, technically, that wouldn't be name dropping, though. Technically, like name dropping, I get. Well, then again.
But what if I said, "Hey, I was training with Big Eric tonight, and he
Right,
did
right.
such and such"?
Yeah, see if it's.
But I actually was training with Dean Lister tonight.
Well, yeah, it depends on the context you're trying to add. If you're trying to add into the story the fact that I know this guy, that therefore it makes me hip or cool, like this guy, or on his level, or whatever, or associated with him, so I'm cool, whatever. That's name dropping. But if you're just trying to paint a more accurate picture of your experience or your story or whatever,
But the
that's not
fact
really
of the
name
matter
dropping.
is, like, I was training with Dean tonight.
Right?
You know,
Yeah. See, so it added context to the story. But how you
Yeah.
said Dean, and then you kind of reversed and came back to and said Dean Lister. That's name dropping. Nonetheless, the point is, if you start carrying on, you don't know the answer. You need suggestions, and you say, whatever. I'm just gonna move forward. But they're gonna smell that on you that you're whack like that.
Yeah. I'm laughing because I'm thinking of name dropping right now.
It's true that the point there is you're a lot more transparent than you think. Like a lot of people, and some people that
You know what's
do
funny? You
stuff
keep using
automatically.
transparent in its the way that the business community uses transparent right now. They use it in a positive way.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, we're just going to be completely transparent on how we're doing this.
Yeah.
You're using it in a little bit of a negative way.
Right.
Like, hey, I can see through your crap here.
Yeah. Yeah, and I tend to use it in both. Like I try
Yeah,
to
you
make
use it in both.
bipartisan kind of thing. but
Bipartisan. I like that.
I read that, learned it. Actually, I got it from Seinfeld, but nonetheless, yeah, they'll see right through that if you need suggestions, and that's on top to add to the fact that all this other stuff that it makes the team feel more valuable. It's a better overall way to be.
There's no doubt about it. No doubt. And by the way, in case you're wondering, the best military planning units, whether it's the SEAL teams, whether it's the Army that I work with, or whether it's the Marine Corps, the more open they are in their planning, taking suggestions from throughout the chain of command, the better off they do. Period. End of story. I should have just answered with that, and then we could have moved on. That's the way it works.
Next question.